I'm privileged as a clergy person to have a number of circles of other clergy that I can talk with. There's my local United Methodist cluster, those that are here, Kashmir, Monitor, Chelan, and Leavenworth. There's the retired clergy that are here at FUMC who are part of my network that I can lean on and talk with and receive some mentoring and wisdom from. I have an online group called my Soul Circle that I was assigned to in my move to help with the transition. They were also taking a move that year. There are the residents in ministry, the RIM group, the provisional ordinands that I work with as part of my conference level work. And in those groups, we often talk church and theology, not surprising at all. And for those who are working toward ordination, they have to answer a ton of questions. The UMC does not let people come into ministry easily. We do a lot of vetting. We want to know people know their theology, that they're grounded, that they're faithful, that they're really called to this work, and it's not just some wingding idea. So in one of those conversations with one of those people who've had to answer the zillion questions, they were sort of talking through distinguishing between evil and sin. And so we talked sort of around how we understand sin, individual sin, lowercase sin, S sin, as I like to talk about it, the things that we do consciously and sometimes unconsciously, the ways that we're greedy or lustful or prideful or hard-hearted, lowercase S sin. And then there's capital S sin, sort of corporate level, larger picture, institutional sin, generational sin, things that are bigger than just one person's action, but sort of happen collectively among us. The isms, racism, sexism, homophobia, those things are part of the capital S sin. And then there's evil. And that tends to be a little bit sticky for us. We don't often think of a singular figure of the devil like red horns and red face kind of thing. But is there a presence of evil? Is there a power of evil? Does evil act upon us, or is it only the consequence of our sin individually and collectively? Clergy people push through these things and the implications of whatever our answers may be. There's not one standard uniform answer. We have to sort of reckon and deal with it. So this particular colleague has had the opportunity to work in a prison, and he talked about the wrongdoings of those who had been convicted, right? Their lowercase s sin. And he said there was something else in the prison, something beyond the individual, many of whom could relate with him and talk with him, and he could see them as individuals, right? And despite their wrongdoing, they're still a bigger person. They have more to who they are than just the sins and the crimes that they committed. But he said there was this presence of darkness and evil that was there. How do we talk about that? Where does that come from? And it seemed to have an effect on the inmates, no surprise. So as we sort of pushed around in this conversation, I said, what if sin is that which diminishes the human spirit? And evil becomes sort of this power that also diminishes the human spirit, such that in a prison, you might feel that dampening, that thing which seeks to sort of soul suck the life, the hope, the joy, the peace, the goodness from the individual. And acknowledging that sin really isn't just a laundry list of do this and don't do that, but that where we do things that diminish the human spirit, ours or someone else's, then we are engaging with sin. I don't have answers for all the things or even implications of all the things or, okay, now do this. But I just sort of want to offer it as food for thought. What if we think about sin or evil as that which dampens and diminishes the human spirit? And maybe then the implication of what does that mean we need to stop doing? What do we need to avoid? What corporately is going on that we can label as sin because it does dampen and diminish the human spirit? How can we move towards righteousness and faithfulness and away from that which steals the personhood and the heart of individuals? Food for thought, friends. I hope it gets you thinking. Take care.